Hi.
Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas Ace 16 Plus PureControl in the limited edition Spacecraft colorway. Now included with the shoes inside the box is this string bag right here, white in color with the Adidas logo there on the side tag. They include a shoe horn, which just makes things a little bit easier in terms of getting the shoes on because it is a laceless system, although you don't necessarily have to use it. They include an extra set of comfort insoles to go along with the lightweight ones already inside the shoes. And finally, they include this little tag right here, which has the Adidas logo on one side, and then on the opposite side, you can see it says September 2016, the month of the release, limited collection, pair number 618 of 1,000 total pairs worldwide. So this was a limited edition product that sold out pretty much in the first 2 days of the initial release. So they aren't really available anywhere. If you want them, you'll have to go to the resale market. So here are the shoes themselves, very gold as you guys can see, but distinctively different than every other PureControl, not just because of the colorway, but because of the kangaroo leather here that you find at the front forefoot area of the upper. Now this is something that we're going to be talking about specifically in this video in regards to how this changes the fit, feel, and performance of the PureControl in general. We're going to talk tech specs, take a closer look at the colorway, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as take a look at how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, stick around and watch the entire video. If you guys do want more detailed information, you can check out the review page on my website. There'll be a link in the description as well as a little pop-up on screen. There you'll find high quality images of this shoe that I took myself, and I will leave a link to eBay where you can actually buy these from somebody reselling them. Again, it was limited, they sold out pretty quickly, so stores don't have them in stock anymore. So with that being said, go ahead and check out the review page if you are interested, and let's get right into it. To start things off, let's talk tech specs and performance. Now, those that regularly watch my channel know that the PureControl is one of the more popular shoes that I'm personally not too crazy about from a performance standpoint, and it's not so much because of the feel of the shoe, the traction. It really comes down to this laceless system, which is the main reason why it's so popular, and the flaws that it does come with in regards to lockdown, stability to a certain extent, and just general fit and comfort issues that, like I said, are attributed with this laceless system that just has a lack of adjustability. Now I'm going to touch on pretty much everything in today's video, but if you guys want as much detail as possible in regards to my overall thoughts on the PureControl and the laceless system in general, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen to my playtest video where, like I said, I cover all of the details. Now, of course, this is a little bit different than other PureControl models because it does have the kangaroo leather here at the front. You can see it does have the natural leather stamp right there, and it has an interesting kind of stitching pattern as well. The quality of the leather is okay. It's nothing fantastic. It's definitely not as good as what you're going to get from a pair of Copas, for example. I would say even a pair of Adidas Gloros has a little bit nicer quality leather. This is a decent thickness. The quality is okay, but it's not the best quality leather you'll find on a pair of high-end soccer shoes. And you can see it spans the forefoot toe box area. So it's a fairly small section of the shoe. So for those that are fans of leather shoes and like that soft leather feel, yes, you'll get that to a certain extent because of the leather vamp at the front, but the general feel of the shoe is not that of something more traditional just because there is very little leather. I've been critical of shoes like this from Adidas and other brands when they classify it as a leather shoe, but there's barely any leather on the upper. That's kind of the case here. Now, because of this leather vamp, it does change up the design of the upper to a certain extent. You have this seam right here where it transitions from prime knit into leather, and in general, the seam is not noticeable when you have the shoe on your foot, but what it does do, because you transition from what is a heavily reinforced prime knit upper where you have a top layer covering the prime knit, the knitted material itself, a synthetic leather liner on the inside, and then your kind of internal sleeve area that holds your foot in place as well. When you transition from that into the soft leather at the front, there's I guess, an imbalance in terms of just overall stability and lockdown. Lockdown, like I said, is kind of an issue that I have with the regular PureControl. So when you make softer materials that are more flexible and arguably more comfortable when you're just standing there, once you start moving around, there's just more wiggle room and less lockdown in general because of the leather here at the front. And once you start to wear them and the leather softens up more and stretches even a little bit, that's where I really do see some major issues in regards to lockdown with this particular shoe. So this is a limited edition release, only 1,000 pairs worldwide, so it's not going to be something that I think too many people are going to have issues with. But I guess it is possible that we will perhaps see a leather variation of the PureControl in a general release colorway at some point in time. I'm just saying that as of right now, I don't think that leather is the best implementation with this laceless system. So, speaking of the laceless system, the only way that it works is by way of reinforcing the sides of the upper, because the top of the upper is fully elasticated prime knit material, and it has to be so you can get your foot in and out of the shoe. So you have the Adidas stripes right here, which aren't just there for branding and looks purposes. It's actually a TPU plastic material that is relatively firm. You'll immediately notice it when you slide your foot inside the shoe, and that is there to reinforce the upper. Like I said, while it is prime knit, it still does have the synthetic leather liner on the inside that does add quite a bit of stiffness and rigidity to the upper, which is 100% required for this laces system to work at all. The top of the foot has a single layer of exposed prime knit, as you can see, and then underneath that, which I can't really show you because it's black on black, you have what is essentially a TechFit internal support system. So if you can imagine more elasticated knitted material that runs right here, wrapping across the top of your foot and helping to hold it in place inside the shoe. That's what's going on inside here. That's what's attached to this pull tab. And then of course you have the pull tab on the back to help you with getting the shoe on as well. Other features you're going to find with the upper are the non-stop grip dots that don't run into the leather, but they do span the synthetic metallic gold sections that you can see. There's the little dots. But again, one of those features that I don't think makes a big difference in regards to feel or performance. And then of course you do have the prime cut collar, which is a slightly mid-cut aspect of the shoe. It's basically just a little extension piece from an elasticated knitted material. But something that doesn't really wrap your ankle all that tight. You're gonna have open gaps in this area. It's just there mainly for looks. It has nothing to do with the fit. So just keep that in mind as well. So moving on to the inside of the shoe, you're going to have synthetic suede lining the heel liner with a decent amount of padding. The insole is fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. This is the lightweight one, which features a mesh liner on top and then perforations throughout the front 2/3. Then it's just a single layer of this black foam, nothing too fancy. But let's talk about the lockdown issue with this particular shoe. What you're gonna find is that from side to side, the upper is pretty firm and actually holds your foot in place quite nicely. But when you're talking about something pushing your heel or your foot down into the base of the sole plate or down into the heel counter, there isn't any of that. There's nothing pushing your foot, holding it in place, just because this top part is elasticated. So you slide the shoe on, that's how it fits. There's no adjustability. You can't make it looser. You can't make it tighter. The way it fits is the way it's going to fit. But because of the leather here at the front, that has potential to stretch. That is softer than the rest of the upper, or softer than a regular pair of PureControls. So there is more potential for less lockdown and more movement on the inside of the shoe, which I don't think you would want with a laceless system. The regular PureControl has some issues with lockdown, and like I said, implementing a softer material here that will stretch at the front of the shoe, while perhaps it will offer a slightly different feel on the ball. In regards to fit with this laceless system, I personally just don't think that it's the greatest idea. Moving on to the heel counter, you do have an external heel counter here in metallic gold. It's part of the sprint frame construction, which you can see right here. It does create a lighter feel than you might expect. It's got some decent flexibility to it. And then of course you do get the Ground Control 2.0 stud pattern, which is an FG-AG stud pattern that you can use on both firm natural grass and artificial grass playing surfaces, although I definitely will say that it is more of an FG stud pattern than it is a true AG stud pattern, but nonetheless, it does work on both surfaces. And if you only want to buy one pair of shoes to play on both natural grass and artificial playing surfaces, all the Adidas models, aside from the Gloros and the Copas, are technically FG-AG, so that is worth considering Again, if you do play a lot on multiple different playing surfaces, but only want to buy one pair of shoes. So in conclusion, yes, it's a little bit different than a regular pair of PureControls because of this leather. It's not really enough leather to create, I guess, that natural leather sensation, that natural leather touch on the ball. It's a little bit softer in the front, but overall, I really feel like having this leather long term is going to hurt the lockdown of the PureControl, which I think is an issue in the regular pair. So as a whole, it's a cool collector's item, but not necessarily something that I think is a better version of the standard PureControl, again, because of the lack of structure that you get from the leather here at the front. In regards to weight, I thought we'd compare a regular pair of PureControls to this leather spacecraft variation to see if there's any weight difference between the two. So I'm going to weigh both shoes for you today in real time using the scale. Keep in mind they are both brand new and both in the exact same size 9 US. So I'll start off with the standard PureControl with a full prime knit upper. Throw it on the scale and you can see that it weighs in at 8.15 ounces, the equivalent of 231 grams. Remember those numbers. We'll change the scale back to ounces, pull these off, and throw on the leather upper variation. And you can see that they weigh in at 8.4 ounces, the equivalent of 239 grams. So you're talking about an 8-gram weight difference between these two shoes. Pretty minimal in all honesty, not something that I think is going to have a major impact on feel in terms of the weight of the shoe on your foot. But like I said, from a structure standpoint and just having better lockdown, you're going to get better lockdown, and I guess general responsiveness is going to be better with the regular variation of the PureControl as opposed to this leather spacecraft model. So again, if you are trying to decide between the two, weight really shouldn't be a deciding factor. As far as looks is concerned, being that this is a limited edition release, I think they actually look pretty cool. The combination of gold and a little bit of black, I think, is a really nice combo. You can see that you have gold across the entire upper, which isn't quite the same as the sole plate because this is more of a metallic kind of true shiny gold, if you will. This does come with a little warning sticker. I pulled it off, letting you know that the metallic finish will wear off over time. That's the case with all the PureControl models, regardless of the color of the metallic bottom. But the upper, as you can see, you got a couple different shades of gold just because it is different materials. That's kind of to be expected, but for the most part it matches up all pretty well. And then of course you have exposed prime knit in black at the top here as well as at the collar. Same thing goes for the pull tab going down the back and the pull tab here at the front. And then of course the stud tips are kind of a translucent black as well. So all in all, I think the shoe looks pretty cool. I'm not crazy about having the exposed prime knit in black as opposed to just leaving the entire upper gold, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think though down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and feel. All right, so here is a look at the PureControl's on feet. And this is one of those shoes, like I've mentioned in the past, you have to try it on to really understand how it fits and feels. If you put them on and they just don't fit right, you're better off returning them or exchanging them for something else, because that's the way it's going to fit. Because of the laceless system, there's no adjustability. So you put them on, they're either going to feel good or they're going to feel bad, and it's really up to you at that point in time to decide whether or not they're the right shoe for you, because again, you can't adjust it. It's not really going to change once you break them in. It's just the way that that shoe fits. So keep that in mind if you are ordering a pair of these online. In regards to this particular pair having the leather upper, obviously you do have that transition seam that you wouldn't normally have on a pair of PureControls. Out of the box, it's not all that noticeable. You do notice something in terms of just a stiffness difference in the upper itself because it does transition from a firmer synthetic to a soft leather. But down the line, once that leather does stretch out a little bit, you're gonna notice that seam a lot more because the forefoot area and toe box is gonna be wider than the rest of the shoe. And anyone that's ever owned a pair of leather shoes definitely knows or has noticed this, that you wear them as you break them in and they stretch, you'll tie them tighter than when you first got them. So again, because of this laceless system, once that leather stretches and has, I guess, more of a sloppier fit, you're not going to have the ability to tighten it. So it is going to have a sloppier fit in general the more and more that you wear them. That again, you can't adjust because of the laceless system. The other issue that I do have, because there isn't really anything pushing your heel into the back of the shoe, is that there is somewhat of a heel slippage, I guess, pressure. Your heel's not necessarily slipping, but there's constant pressure on your heel because it does want to come out from the shoe itself. Something that I just find a little bit uncomfortable. Everyone does have a different experience with this though, again, just based on how it fits your foot specifically, but something that I definitely thought I would mention. In regards to width, it's not an overly tight fitting shoe. There is stiffness on the sides, especially where you have the Adidas stripes on the lateral side of the upper, but for the most part, I think most people will be able to get their foot in here. Again, it's just a matter of deciding for yourself personally whether or not you like how they feel. So give it a go. If they fit and feel proper, stick with them. If they don't feel right, exchange them, go for something else. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the limited edition Spacecraft Adidas 16 Plus PureControl. Again, if you guys are interested in more info, you can go ahead and check out the review page on my website by either clicking the little eye in the corner of the screen or clicking the very first link down below in the description of this video. If you have any questions at all regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.